The Republican Party of Texas wants to prevent non-party members from voting in their primary and have now hired a law firm to help them achieve their goal.
They say they plan to sue the state of Texas, which currently has laws to prevent closed primaries. State Capitol reporter Adam Schwager reports on what would need to happen for the GOP to get its way.
In Texas elections, the primary is paramount.
The parties are so divided and we are so gerrymandered that if you don't vote in the primary, you might actually have zero choice in the general election.
Currently in Texas, any registered voter can show up on primary day and ask for either a Republican or a Democratic ballot. However, if the Republican Party of Texas has their way, only registered Republicans will be allowed to vote in Republican elections.
What is happening now is Democrats would join us in our Republican primary and chooses the weakest candidate.
That's the head of the Republican Party of Texas, Abraham George. His organization changed their bylaws last year to require Republican primary voters to be registered Republicans, despite the rule conflicting with state law. Now, George says they hired a law firm to defend their efforts.
For us to have a good candidate on the Republican primary, we have to have a good candidate elected from the Republican primary. So it's really not disenfranchising anyone. It's our private business.
Some have concerns.
The people who benefit from closed primaries are partisan elites, party insiders, and unfortunately, it's normally the most extreme partisan voters.
Eric Bronner is the founder of Veterans for All Voters and says over half of post 9/11 veterans aren't affiliated with a political party. He fights closed primaries across the country, saying those independent veterans are among those disenfranchised.
They don't want to be forced to join a private political party. As veterans, we swore an oath to defend the Constitution, not a political party.
The next step for the Republican Party is to file a lawsuit, which George says will happen this summer. In Austin, I'm Adam Schwager.
In this legislative session, 3 separate bills were filed to close the primary system, but none of them got a committee hearing. Now, for some context on how primaries work in other states, Florida has used a closed primary system for more than a century. State law there states that someone has to be registered with the party 29 days before the primary to vote in that party's race. But there are exceptions. If all the candidates in the race are from the same party and there's no opposition in the general election, then that primary opens up to all voters.